Hi there, now I'm here again. Surprise. Yeah, so what now then? Yeah. Maybe I should continue talking about these tools, honestly. Oh, I don't have them right here, so maybe I should pause then. Wait a sec. A great start. So, hi again. So I went picking up these about these things that are connected to my Atame. And also, by the way, I'm not very trained in like occult practices as such, or the use of such tools and so on very much. The things I have is much ancestrally, if that's a word, as well as intuitive. I was born with a lot of gifts, and also things that have happened during my life on my path have opened them up. Not only good things. I mean, good in the result, end result at least. This is not the end of good. If it's not good, it's not the end. You know, now I know that quote. So, yeah. Halfly pissed off person. Well, anyways, so let's see. Going back to these then. 1 to 10. And I'm also very, very grateful for all the goodnesses out there. You know, when it comes to Ayurveda, when I was going to that training, then she taught us, she talked about, maybe you don't know this, but there are several energies, not only Vata, Pitta, Kapha, which are more the physical energies and how they represent themselves in our health or disease and so on, but also let's see, the Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva or Sattvic, and the Tamas is slow. Also, when you're overweight or eat junk food, you get pretty much tamastic. You get very dim-brained and such. And Rajastic is this fiery, and I think that, as I've told, I try to avoid by numbing myself and becoming more like the dull, which is not really my nature much, but I thought it'd be my medication, you can say. But then the Sattvic is this pure love energy, which also there are Sattvic foods, and you can feel the pulse also if it's more tamasic or Rajasic or Sattvic, and you can see it in the poop if it's more of those energies. They relate to Vata, Pitta, and Kapha a bit also, but yeah, the Rajasic ones are it's very quick, everything. So I guess, I'm in a Rajasic period at the moment, more or less. And that's good, I think, because that is also about the fiery energy that burns, fat. Let's hope that also burns. But anyway, so Sattvic is this beautiful, spiritual, loving energy, the peaceful, enlightened energy that is love. And most people live on those other levels. And what she taught, what I wanted to say, is that she talked about how one cannot live in this world and be Sattvic. And I never really got what she said there, but I think I get it. I mean, if you really want well and have a whatever, not pure heart, we all have everything within us, but if you're well-meaning, and in this world there is so many other things, and it's very difficult to live here then. Yeah, I mean, it's probably maybe better in another life, yeah. Who knows? But I prefer to stay in this one. I love this one. But yeah. Anyways, also I put a link to or kind of it was stuck in my mind, but also it means something to me. This Loudon Wainwright III's daughter. I also love the images someone else had put onto that video. I don't know really how the official video is. I haven't checked that one, but maybe it's better. But also when it comes to soul retrieval and those things that I've mentioned, I dissociated with it very early, and then when I was 28, my child self, or let's just back it up. All psychologists. I am not so fond of psychology, mostly because of all the frames and all the labels and all the shit that makes people not hear you or see you or anything. It's so disturbing, and I try not to view people through those filters, because that can go very, very wrong. Anyways, and it's offending. It's like, yeah, you hurt people when you do that, when you don't see them, or if you don't even try to listen to them, but have some idea about whatever they would fit into for sort of level on, or I mean label or diagnosis. Okay, I get upset. It's really hot out as well. Well, so basically, when I was a kid, there happened a few traumatic events, really traumatic events that changed me totally as a person. I will try not to cry. I will try because I put some mascara on. And I want to keep it there. So I don't have it all over my cheeks. But, yeah, so then I guess this is kind of also, I try to make sense of things. So I try to understand whatever happened and how did it go that way and whatnot. And so I cut off parts of myself and became this very logical child that weren't afraid of anything. I was so strong, and I still have that strength, of course, but as a child I was unbeatable. I was like a rock. I was, even grown-ups and even in school, I felt like that with grown-ups. They just fell, I didn't try to provoke or be like nothing, but around people I just felt that they they couldn't stand for almost nothing. They just were like those when you do bowling, or they just, and it scared me a little bit because my mom was that. She's really hard in some ways, and she's really, really innocent and soft also, but I mean, to a degree that I can both envy kind of and also worry about, she has such a good heart, and on the other hand, she's more hard than I will ever be. She's like a lioness times 1,000 or something. Yeah, and she was I guess when I grew up, she was the only one that I ever listened to, because she never wavered. She was this totally steady force, and while everyone else just fell like those kind of bowling, I don't know, for just a little push or a little wind, they would just fall. And so I thought this was a dangerous world. I mean, I don't know if I thought it, but it felt like a pretty dangerous world, when even those who supposedly should be stronger couldn't deal with much, as I felt it. But anyways, I was very, that was so very, I don't remember who said that, but it was really well said, that I'm so defiant. I don't think I can change that much. I don't know how to change that. But I work on being more compassionate with myself, with everyone else, and all things. I realize that leads to good, and all other paths, they lead to nothing. All this, an eye for an eye will make the whole world go blind. That's so true, And you never know what you trigger. I mean, all people have like instincts. That sometimes also surprised me very much when but people don't always think all those, or I don't always think all those steps further. But the craziness that someone can hold, you don't always see that, until they show it, so to speak. And yeah, I for sure know that I have that, and I don't want to express it. But I could go however overboard, and I really, really don't want that. I guess that's one of the things that I want the least, actually. Yeah, but there are always things you can trigger in people, and then that can lash back harsh, and that's just not good. That's not the way to go. That's not to go forward. That's just to go nowhere, kind of. So I need to work on that, to not feed those thoughts. But anyways, back to the whole story. Then, when I was small, there happens a few things. So close ones were, never mind I won't go into even talking about that anymore. So I kind of left myself. I saved myself, you can say. I mean, this is a construction afterwards, but I think about it that way, and therefore I've retrieved myself. But still, when I was 28, backing up, during my childhood and so on, I didn't know this then, and then I don't know what age, but around like maybe 15, 16 or so, I started to have dreams that were really weird, that kind of reminded me of things that had happened, or I knew somewhat subconsciously that pretty strange things had happened to me, but I couldn't really, I mean, some things I always remembered, but there were certain other things that were, I could almost kind of remember or touch on to them what they were, and they really bothered me. But also I fell asleep all the time when I was a kid. When I felt anything, I just dropped, and that's a really good thing. So, for example, now I've slept more, but when I haven't slept, it's not because I can't sleep. I can always sleep, and that's such a blessing. I just didn't want to. I wanted to do other things than sleep, so therefore I was a little bit drained of sleep. But so it's good to prioritize that. But anyways, that's kind of a protection measure that I had, to turn my consciousness or awareness off when things got too harsh to deal with, as well as numbing myself with a lot of sugars and foods and so. But then again, when I was around 20, 21, so then I started to remember clearer, and also I found things out through others around me that also had been subjected to the same persons for like sexual abuse and so on. And so I started to understand things that I really pushed away and thought that no, this cannot be true, this must be someone else or something else, or no, that cannot be. Or I tried not to get it, really, and I kind of did, but the proofs have constantly showed themselves. I mean, there pops up new things but that could take many years before, and I'm glad, because I couldn't have dealt with that, I don't think. I don't know how to. Every time still, it hits me hard when new things may pop up that clarify that to me, that fact of things that have happened, or how sick maybe others have been. Okay, but now jumping to the whole soul retrieval and that. So then when I was 20, or rather it was not that I was that age or whatever, it was that I was really trying, or actually it was when I was 26 or 27, or when I was to Mora for my eating disorders were totally out of, and I hardly survived. I was in that state most of the time, in the sense that I almost couldn't cope with how I felt. And I also went to some sort of therapy where they wanted me to draw a timeline of sorts with just horrible things in it. I don't know how that would be of help. It wasn't. I can't see that was of help. It just made me crushed. I couldn't see all those things and survive it. So I was almost always on the verge of suicide. Yeah, I couldn't deal with it. And yeah, I tried to numb all this, but yeah. Anyway, so when I went there, that was the first time that I realized how. But I had not heard about those things much. But I realized that when I tried then to be without the food when I was in Mora there, and they did hypnosis for you, and that they hardly got me back. That's a problem. But also when I was going to where we were going to meet our therapists there was a part we lived in a hotel, and then we were walking and crossing quite of a large street where there were, large trucks passing by and so. And I was so. The whole thing everything was so weird, and I realized afterwards that was when my smaller self came back, my child self. So when I see this Daughter by Laura Moena right third, it's like my little child that I try to I started crying. No, but that I tried to protect all my life. My soul kind of tried to embrace her or protect her by sending her away. Oh. Oh well. Sorry. So then. What then? Yeah, so I had this dream also then that said that my name was Helen, which means like whole and one in Swedish, those words together. First I didn't understand what that meant. My name is that or that, but it was such a dream also that I knew it had something to say for sure. And so I also understood that I wasn't whole. I had not been aware of the part that I pushed her away so far so that she would always be protected. Shit, my mascara. Well, anyways. So yeah, so then what then? Yeah, so it was, they weren't really, I mean, the things I had to deal with, they tried to kind of swoop it over and say, give you a diploma, you're now well from all these eating disorders, bye-bye, so they could get more money to their facility, I guess. The one that I had there, and also I really hate separations, and I had this wonderful hypnosis therapist that I had. He was awesome, really like wonderful. But also he asked me, he was walking around in the room, and he asked me if it bothered me, and I said no, and he was just describing how to hypnotize someone, and I was totally hypnotized. He couldn't almost bring me back, but he didn't even try to hypnotize me. He just was describing the procedure, But anyways, he also asked me can you tell me if I come too close, if he was walking in the room, and how, if I would feel uncomfortable with that. So then, yeah, let me know. But I immediately told him, no, I would never feel uncomfortable if you come too close. It's if you move away that I would feel uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's strange, but that's how I felt it. So, and that's maybe usually how I feel. I like things close. Anyway, so I got home and there were all kinds of crazy stuff. And also I have, they have tried to put all kinds of diagnoses and labels on my behaviors and all, I don't know how I have been in my life. But I didn't like that, so I told them to check it. I mean, they need to test it if so. And really, you can't also not, if someone is like drunk all the time, you can't like do those tests. That's impossible to do, honestly, I think. But maybe, I mean, I know there are people who disagree, but they don't really know how, for example, sugar affects your brain and everything. Because, I mean, it's not to test, and let's think about it as with an alcoholic. If you test them when they are sober in periods, it's not that. It's like testing them when they are drunk, because the sugars you always like infuse into your system, and if you're an addict to that, or if you but anyways, so I don't think it really tells much, but maybe it does also. I don't know about the diagnosis so much, but they have labeled me a lot of things, and then when they've checked it, it didn't fit, or some little thing didn't fit. Maybe a lot did. But one thing I liked was when a doctor, and also there were a doctor when I then a year later or so went to anorexia center where I was for a couple of years, back and forth, mostly living there. And that was really good. It kept me away from certain male influences as well, which was awesome. I needed that space to even recover, and to be with myself, But there also, as I mentioned before, it had been this home for children who passed away with from lung disease, and that was not a very good thing maybe for someone who is very receptive. But I also felt more and more than that I realized this little child of mine, or I mean in me, that came back more and more, and that was such a schizophrenic or experience, sort of, I guess. It was like always having another voice in my head in the same time. I mean, for example, there was a circus, and this one a part of myself that wanted so much to go there, and I was like against it. I don't think it's good to harm the animals, and didn't want to, but I had to like try to please her inside of me then. So she didn't know how to hold even the the, what is it called, the fork and the knife and so on when you eat. She was too little for that, so sometimes she took over, and it was very interesting also how that happened. She came in through the left side, which also spirits do often when I feel them in my aura field. But so it was like on my right, which is then connected to the left side of the brain, the more logical, and she, I call her she, but it's like me, but so however whole am I in? But yeah. And also there was, I couldn't go to this, though there's this body therapist that you could go to, but I was not allowed, because when I went there, first of all, she was angry with me. She asked me, tell me about the smallest part of your body. And I was so logical, so I answered a cell, as I could think of right then and there. And she was really angry, thought I was like provoking her. But you know what I mean, just that I should like say finger. I don't know what I was supposed to say, but she was really angry at me. But then also we should explain how we experienced our different sides of the body. And I said, oh, my right side it's like a normal, I don't know, normal, but it feels like, I guess most people feel like it's a body, like, but the other side was like a black net kind of thing that was empty. It's nothing there. It's like, those beautiful pictures. I should have had that up, where there's like angel wings, sort of, with there are holes in there, like a net almost, like in their wings. It was kind of that. All my left side was like that, and it was not only like in my mind, because when she gradually came back into that space where she had not been, where there had been an empty space then, trying to protect the soul, the little soul of myself, then the thing happened that when she took over, so to speak, I couldn't control that very much, which part of myself it was then for a while, now and then. And then my whole left side of the brain got warm, and it switched. Like now I can kind of communicate with both of myself. How crazy! But no, I don't even much think about it as two oftentimes. But anyways, it was really when it shifted. It really, even the sides of my nose, it was like a sharp line between the sides of my body. So if this child self in me was the one that like took over, then the right side of my body was totally cold and that other side was warm. Even the sides of the nose I could just touch with a finger, or someone else could do. I said that to the therapist, you could touch it. They didn't know they were, but anyways, but they could realize that actually it physically was true, that I was ice cold on one side of my body and warm on the other. And when it did shift towards my more grown self, if you say, or the one self that I've been aware of all the time throughout my life, then my right side of the body was warm or hot and the left side ice cold. And it was so distinct. It was like strange. It wasn't that I had been cold for all my life beforehand on the left side. It was like before I was very numbed overall. I wasn't very aware of my body much. So anyway, so that was when she kind of came back, and that's kind of tricky, I can say, to deal with that. So having this little child self not really growing up, kind of, I don't know if that happens, and I guess that's really, no, I guess that doesn't happen. I should really need to see some therapist again. No, I think I'm done with those. But she's still, or I am still, because I see it as part of myself now. But it's still, I was really afraid at the beginning when she came back stronger and she was in my body oftentimes before and she was outside of it. And that's where I felt I was all the time also. This logical thinking self and all other things that was kind of in my body and whatnot. I didn't actually think of that as myself. I identified with this part of me that was outside of myself mostly. And then I could go into, in conversations with others and so on, I used my the part that others also were more aware of, I guess. But this is complicated, right? But you wanted to go deep, or not? Well, you can turn it. You can stop listening. That's a good thing. Some of you can. Anyways, yeah. So, what then? Yeah, so that's tricky, I must say, to have that. I mean, I was really afraid that it would be hurt. Beforehand, I could also numb myself. I didn't feel if people hurt me physically. I could just decide not to feel physical pain or even whatever. If it was too hot, like I could just decide not to be aware of that, and I was not aware of it and such things. But then when she came back more and more into my body, then I became more and more in my body. Then I couldn't easily switch her off. I knew that even when I was out walking and such, when I lived there in Varberg, on some trails, and I met someone, I thought, since I felt it through this little child me much, but I had connection to both of myself, much of myself. Still, I was afraid in a way that I was not before. I was never kind of afraid, and when I realized that it would take some time for her to leave, if someone, for example, whomever I met on that trail would attack me, I would have to. She could get hurt, and I guess that's where I have gotten that whole, I want to protect everyone from everything side also. I've always protected my little child. in my ways, the ways I've been able to, fiercely. And yeah, and I don't want to drive her away. I love her. So yeah. And also some other things, I was living quite destructively in many ways and without much boundaries, and the things that I was subjected to, it was still not to her, if you get it. I mean, she was not inside of me, experienced those things. So that's how I coped. But so I couldn't be in those situations now, and not. I mean, then it was like nothing to me, the things I was in. Some of the things, or nothing, but it was like, sort of. Some things that I would now really react strongly about. I didn't mind. I mean, it was like I should just, whatever kind of thing. And, yeah. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I really wanted to explain that sort of. I don't understand it fully though, but I have experienced it, and so I know soul retrieval. I know how that is and how strong that can be, and also how efficiently you can get rid of kind of a part of yourself, and a huge part of yourself, maybe almost all of yourself at the time, at least then. But as I said, I don't think it grows up. So to have this part of myself active in myself, which is also a wonderful part of myself, the part that I love the most, obviously, like other people do with their own children, I guess. Because it's me, but it's still something I can observe, if you understand. So, yeah. It's the playful, it's the loving, it's the one that laughs at almost everything, and the one that is very, very impulsive, and so that song Daughter, I think of that. Also think of my own dad, because it said something in the text there that every time I lost every time I fought her. Lost every time. And I think he did. And that was good. But I mean, he really was disturbed during my years when I grew up. He knew how to handle other kids, but not me. He said that too, that he used to get along with a lot of others, but yeah, I wasn't all that easy. Let's just say. And I think he would totally agree with that song. And and also, people have all kinds of problems. I'm also glad that I've met that with people that I do love, that I really feel that I wish all the best. I wish everyone the best, but some you're more connected to. And I have developed a lot of compassion because of that. It's much more easy to hate or dislike when it's not so close. And also my ancestors. I have a strange bunch of ancestors that I totally love and adore. I love them all. And they have had all kinds of, And I'm so appreciative of them. I wouldn't be here if it was not for them. They are part of me and in me. And I honor them every day, and I also try to heal to them and their past, because there is so much there that have been, I don't know, but what I also know about them is that they are very, very fierce. So talking about that when it comes to things that, being attacked or whatever, I've mentioned this before, but everyone have all this bunch of ancestors. But if you would cause other people a lot of harm, probably they would try to heal you. But if you were subjected to that, they would, I mean, in certain occasions, at least mine, I'm absolutely positive, I know them, they wouldn't let that be. That would, you wouldn't have to do some kind of, I don't know, black magic, or you wouldn't have to practice those kinds of things to yourself, because they are there for every one of us, and they see, and they maybe you could convince them to not do that, but otherwise they would, because they care for you so very much. And I don't know, I mean, it depends on, however, if you have Buddha ancestors, maybe they wouldn't, they would just embrace everything with much love. And yeah, I'm sure mine aren't not loving, they're very, very loving ones, but at the same time, yeah, I'm sure they would totally mess with someone who messed with me, and I count on them to do so, actually. And it's not because I wish other people not well, it's because I trust them as my ancestors. They are my tribe. They are my family, you know. So, and it's not that all spirits have this all seeing everything, but they see a lot more than most humans do in this plane, about others' intentions and what is going on, and so on and so forth. And I wouldn't really, there have been cases where I've actually asked them to not back off, but to be compassionate and not hurt people. It's not that it sounds really bad, it's not that my ancestors go around hurting people, but I mean, yeah, but when I know that people have treated me bad or attacked me in certain ways, then I also know that my ancestors know, and therefore I've kind of prayed to them and lit candles and asked them to not harm these people, because I guess they would want to. I would probably want to, if it was my children or children's children or whatever. And I mean, the ancestors are not just the ones we knew, it's like all this line far back, and we can call upon them and connect with them, and they are there. Yeah, in all kinds of ways we can connect with them. Yeah, and so there is from the one that I'm now taking this name that my mom's mom had, and her dad, and so on. This soldier's name, actually, that means star, and it's Swedish. But anyways, she was so magical. I mean, I guess among all my ancestors, she is the one that I know of. But all have had these various gifts. I guess in all families that goes. Some people don't talk about it. It was not allowed really to talk about it much before. So I'm sure each and every one of you also have that. It's not that I'm so special in that case, but I know of it. Maybe that is special. And also her son, as well as I, with his whole related to blood and that. These various things that she did. She was very magical, very, very loving, but very, very magical, and used that a lot. And so I loved to connect with that energy of her. Yeah. Well, okay, tools now then. But anyways, that's I don't know for sure why I wanted to talk about that, but just this whole soul retrieval thing. It's an ongoing thing with me, because I don't think if you have divided, yeah, when it did give me that diagnosis as dissociative disorder or whatever it's called, I read the diagnosis. That I was pleased with. Other diagnoses, I thought, what this doesn't make sense. This doesn't even fit, well. As I felt, as I knew what they said, or in some it was like, oh, they are so manipulative, they are this and that, which is not really true. When it comes to me, I'm very straightforward, and And the only thing that happens with things like that is also that they put this, whoa, hey, spooky things happen here, that they put this whole, you know, the spirits are around touching things that are, yeah, that they put this whole layers on top of, and when you say something, they think, oh, what is she really up to now? I don't know, this stuff. Very, very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. Oh, and that's like the opposite of who you are. Wow. Well, anyway, so, but that is my path, I guess, in this life. I've been misunderstood my whole life, and that's how it is. And I don't complain. I mean, the strength that I have and have gotten also comes from that. That I can't count on others' perception of me to bring me, to boost me. I love if some people, one or whatever, understand anything, but if not, I do. I don't really care anymore. I'm tired of trying to convince others of who I am if they don't know. So, if you don't know me by now, you will never ever know me. As it goes, that song. Yeah, I started to laugh at that, really. It's sort of half silly, but fun. Yeah. That's true. But so, anyways, that diagnosis with dissociative, I really could relate to that. And it's said when I read about it that it's also psychic. And then I thought, oh, even it's more correct here that I'm psychic. and so I was like, I was a little bit surprised that they actually kind of accepted that, because I thought that that's not something they would believe in, maybe, or anything like that. So, but I could relate to this whole gap, and then I asked another psychologist that I was talking with, and so about that, because that was so surprising to me, and like in a positive way. I thought, oh, are they so broad-minded? They understand that people are psychic. I just, no, it's not that they believe it's true. They believe you are. And I was, they totally don't get it. But I guess that's where many are at. Also, when you talk about these things, everyone will not believe you, and or not everyone, luckily there are those, and well, at least as long as you know where you have yourself and what you are up to, you know. But when it comes to these things, okay, I've been to some training, and I mean, in the Witchy Coven and so, there are certain practices, and I continuously do that in Munaki, or it's working with energy and practices in energy. That's something I absolutely love and adore to do, and it gives result immediately. It's not that I mean, if I work with energy, the effect it gives me in the moment is so huge, so I cannot not trust it. It's not that but also in results in the outer world, or further in time, so to speak, and so on, that also have effect. But yeah. But sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I truly wonder what I did. If you choose your lives coming down here, I mean, I love my life, as I said. I totally love it, and I'm totally happy that this is the exact life. And those people that I met and all the things, even those most weird people that I've met, they have absolutely taught me a lot. And still have a lot to learn, to understand, because there are a lot I don't understand, especially around people. And so I must be patient and compassionate and understanding with others who have no clue who I am. But and also, as I said before, if you look at it from a higher perspective, if you believe that you actually do understand things better, and that's something that had bugged people also all my life. When I met those, let's say, those who have put some diagnosis on labels on someone, and it's not that I believe that I know better in all kinds of cases. Of course I don't, and I have a lot to learn, to listen to others and hear learn from them what their experiences are, what their knowledge is, and how they see things, and so. But many times I've known that I know better, but I've been very impatient around that, because I wanted them to know better, and I've expected that kind of, and that made me angry. But yeah, that have been very provoking, when those who have bright, beautiful titles, and I come there and think I am something, or I even, don't bow down to them in any kind of way, when I am just who I am, and I see myself as an equal. Oh, how provoking. And especially being born a girl then, and having that's that really scratches people the wrong way. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm proud of who I am, and I'm happy I'm me, and with all my sides, and with all the experiences I've had. And I'm not better or so than anyone, or worse. I'm not. We are here together, and we are one, as I have talked about so much. I do believe so. But I also, if you think that you have understood something and have some sort of perspective that is broader, that with that comes that responsibility that includes compassion for those who are not yet there. They don't get that. They don't get it. We don't. If I sometimes feel so when it comes to these, for example, these psychic gifts, I feel so. Many people don't really get it, and many do. Luckily, I will focus on them though. But I need to then be compassionate with those who don't. I was recently maybe there myself, who knows, and at least in some life. And yeah, I shouldn't judge. That's just showing that I'm on some lower level, let's say, in my understanding. If I do, then there are lots of things I don't understand. So, yeah. So I have a lot of practice on to grow into greater compassion, and not to expect all too much from people. Their boundaries don't have to be mine, and it's okay and right as it is. They are where they are, and as they are. I can't change them, as someone else wrote here. That's so true. It is what it is. But compassion is not weak. Compassion is like the strongest, because it's an higher. Those higher vibes are stronger. They endure. Love and those kinds of things. The other things go away. They can't linger for very long. Sometimes very self-destructively also. But okay, to the tool. Okay, I've talked for some while now, but I've talked about all this, or I've in a bit of a various order though. But these 10 qualities or characteristics that I've actually not practiced a lot lately, and that's really, really good. Sometimes I love when life pushes me into the things I really need to do, instead of doing some other distractions. How crazy that word is so alike. Distraction. Yeah, well, but now, those 10: generosity, ethics, letting go, wisdom, courage, patience, honesty, determination, loving kindness, equanimity, or calm. Let's go to the determination effort then. I think, and it's also closely to Well, let's see. And I love to see what Thich Nhat Hanh says about it, because he's very wise. He says it much better than I could, so. Also, no, this is actually in Swedish. I thought it was in English, so maybe sometimes I like to use the others' expressions because they are in English already, so I don't have to find the English words. Sometimes I find similar words to what I mean, but not the exact thing that I mean. But so, this is the number 8 of these levels that I talked about. It's Virya, which means energy, endurance, and also effort, or so. And this energy have a lot of sources. Sometimes we can get energy just by visualizing or thinking what we want to achieve in the future. And in Buddhism, our energy sources, I could really need to read this now. I feel, I'm so happy that I do. I hope it gives you something to. It's mindfulness, or mindful presence, you can say. Mindfulness, and to explore the phenomenon. Yeah, that's also to see into the essence of things. And trust the practice. Those 3. And when we look deeply, we understand that life is a miracle. Everything in life is a miracle. Oh, I have to take off. I have a bracelet here. It's almost like a cuff, actually. But I will take it off. I'm a little bit allergic to some. Or actually, I think it's because of the earrings. They are the ones that I usually react to, but then I can feel it somewhere else. I'm sorry. So, here we go. Okay, oh, that was nice. All right. Freedom is nice. All right, so, yeah. And many people, also youth, there is a lot of young people who kill themselves, for example. How sad. But they feel like life is meaningless and so on. And horrible. And in some countries, many more people, or young people especially, die from suicide than traffic accidents. So to teach young ones also to take care of this life energy, and how to get that from experience the wonders of life. Because if we miss out, it's always there, it's always with us and around us and everywhere, but we need to have our focus on that also, to nourish that. So yeah. So we have to help them to feel that life has a meaning, and it really, really does. It may seem how crazy, I can't explain how crazy it can feel, but it is a purpose, and you have a purpose, a unique purpose that is only yours, and also the ability to change. Everyone have that. They have also seen, I thought about that when it comes to let's say psychopaths, for example. Uplifting topic always. No, but they I don't know about this, but I always wanted to believe that everyone can change and all that. I'm not so sure always, but they've talked about that they are like set in their brains sort of, and I've met a few that I would probably consider if I don't like to set the labels, then I do, but that have at least been far stranger than I could explain away. I mean, I don't understand how you can be as they have been. So, but anyways, now they have learned that you constantly can grow new brain cells as older person as well. It just don't die down. It depends on how you use it also, and what nourishment. I mean, you need to get also the physical nourishment, I guess, but also this kid that was born that I talked about, who was born with mostly water in their head, not the brain, and then the brain started to develop and grow, which science can't explain it, but it happened, and they studied and see it happen. So I mean, if that can happen, why wouldn't it be possible for anyone to change? It won't be easy, maybe, and also if we at least aim for that, maybe in some lifetime to come, we may have done some progress. I don't know, but any kind of way, there is a purpose, yeah. And if we experience our life as meaningful, or having a purpose, and our uniqueness being important here, without it, everyone else would be less. So then we can have energy and joy even when we feel pain. So and it's not only good health and the wish to achieve a certain goal that will give us energy, but it comes from feeling that our life has a meaning. So to kind of make an effort at the wrong time or at the wrong place, then we really waste our energy. So I try to learn that also, just to back away from certain situations or so on, because it drains the energy and it won't really have any good effect. So, and also to sit and meditate for long before we learn to concentrate in the right way, we'll just dislike to meditate. It wouldn't work. And maybe we just stop to meditate then. We need to first start developing concentration, and then we can enjoy that meditation. So when Siddhartha meditated under the Bodhi tree, he had already developed ability to concentrate. It was not he walked around and sat there for long suddenly. It was a gradual practice. Yeah. And also many things that will be revealed to you just through certain practices. You don't have to read them or learn them from someone. Or there are many techniques or schools of practice and so on. And many have insights and explain them in various ways. It's kind of the same insight often. But you will also discover a lot. But it can be good to have that reflection with others, so you don't feel just lost in it. But just things like seeing auras and so on, then you know, it won't be that you have to believe or question yourself. You will know that, you will see that. And I would for sure start to have that open now. Maybe, I should have done that long ago. I shouldn't have shut that part down, and that was not a smart decision, but I learned maybe. And because, for example, you will always get this confirmation back. You will know, when you meet someone, you see their intentions so clear. Or if they lie to you, you can sense it. There are many ways you can feel those things, but if you see the colors and the energy, also you constantly remember that we are energy. We are not these physical bodies. We are the soul. And that energy won't go away whether the body stays or not. It's there. It's eternal. And so, yeah. I think I will have to talk about this again maybe, because now I talk for long again. I always think I won't, but I do. But I'm really grateful for all the souls out there who really mean well, and there are so many who do so much for that in all kinds of areas, and don't give up. Don't give up, but also let yourself breathe. I said, I kind of repeat what my commenters say now. What? Okay. At least I don't quote the Bible all the time now. Okay, I will talk, but one of these, I talked about the 6 paramitas also another day or so, and there are like those petals of the 6 petals, and one is this Virya Paramita, this energy. And I think probably I will talk about that maybe a little bit more some other day. Yeah, I think that could be good. We need that, I think. I need that, at least. So hopefully it can help you also. Or bring you some relaxation or joy or something. But I'm very blessed to have you here. And I was not if it was not for you. Just so you know. And I'm forever grateful to each and every one of you. Alright, I will just end this now. Again. Thanks for your, as I said, a lot of thanks. And also for your loving kindness and trying to understand me. Because if you don't, you're not alone. There are many people who have not understood me at all. So you're in good company there. You are, I guess, the majority. So I'm okay with that also. I accept that. Take care for now, and we will talk soon. Much love.